Welcome to the first market update of 2023. I hope you had a wonderful holidays and got to spend some time with friends and family. Now, I do have a few things I'd like to cover in today's video, including, of course, an update on what's going on in the real estate market in Durham Region, if I think homeowners will start to feel more financial pressure to sell their homes in the next year, and to provide some clarity on some of the recent headlines in real estate that you might have been seeing as of late. My name is Jessie McLellan and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario with the Lisa Abbott Team, and I make real estate videos to keep you up to date and informed on what's going on in the real estate market in the GTA, Durham Region, and the surrounding areas. If you'd like to stay in the loop on what's happening here, feel free to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future videos, and please give this video a thumbs up because it helps us reach more people like you. So hopefully you didn't spend your time around Christmas and New Year's just reading real estate articles, but if you did happen to catch a few, then you might notice that the articles and the general talk lately about real estate has been a little bit confusing. And I say this as an active real estate agent who is working in the local market every day. So I imagine if the talk around the real estate market is so back and forth and seems contradictory to me, it's probably a lot to digest for your average consumer who doesn't work in it every day and is relying on the professionals and different resources to form their opinion. I can find articles and experts talking about how great the real estate market is and how prices are going to go up again soon, but I can also find articles and experts talking about how 2023 is going to be a rough year in real estate. And the truth is, they all have valid points and can pull data to support their opinions. With the ups and downs over the past 5 years in the real estate market, you can really cherry pick any data you want to tell whatever story you choose. I can look at a window from February of 2022 to December of 2022 and tell you that the market is declining fast and fell over 20% in most markets, and use this information to back up an opinion that we are in a downward trend that will continue. But I can also look at the 2021 overall average price and the 2022 overall average price and tell you a completely different story about how, despite recent rate increases and the market correction, prices are still up, and use that to tell you a story about how strong of an investment real estate is. Both of these statements are true, and you can tell so many other stories simply by picking your data points and moving your goalposts until it supports your point. This is the issue when looking at averages and trying to analyze data from a short period of time. In December of 2022, Durham Region saw the average sale price fall in almost every category when compared to November of 2022. We also saw the number of transactions decline by 32% and the number of new listings decline by 55%. Now that was to be expected because activity always slows down around Christmas and New Year's. The issue with that is it gives us a much smaller sample size, which means although some numbers may look like they had a big change, like Clarington detached homes being down by over $100,000 from November to December, it's far more likely that the number of sales being cut by roughly half had a far greater effect on the average sale price rather than the market value of those homes actually declining by that much in a single month. They likely just saw some less expensive homes sell during that month. Now, there have been some really great opportunities popping up in Clarington recently, especially in Bowmanville and Newcastle. And if you haven't seen my last video about why I think Clarington is a great place to purchase a home this year, check it out after, and I will link to it in the comment section. And if you want to check out the full Durham Region housing report, I will put a link to that as well. Just keep in mind you're looking at a small snapshot of the market and it doesn't necessarily tell the full story. The reality of the market right now is that everyone is experiencing it differently. Homeowners who purchased their home 3 years ago or more probably aren't all that bothered by the recent market correction because their home values are still up considerably overall. New homeowners who purchased in the early half of 2022 might be a little bit more uneasy or uncertain because of where the market's at. They might have closed on a home that was already worth less than what they paid for it, turning what should be a very exciting time in their lives into a more stressful one. Now, had they waited, yes, the purchase price might have been significantly lower, but their monthly payment would probably be the same, if not higher. And those who have been working towards purchasing a home are likely standing on the sidelines, very confused and maybe even a little bit discouraged, feeling like they can't win. Prices go up and they can't afford it, and prices go down and they still can't afford it because the monthly payment hasn't decreased at all when you factor in the increase in interest rate. It really is different for everyone right now. I've had a few buyers reach out and ask, will people be forced to sell their homes? But what they really want to know is, will there be a flood of inventory at some point in time in the market, and should they wait for that? Which is kind of a weird thing to talk about or wish for. We can all agree we want housing to be more affordable, and we want our kids and future generations to be able to own a home. But I also never want to see anyone lose their home because of financial hardship. In my opinion, that will really be determined by what happens with the interest rates in the next 6 to 12 months, as well as so many other factors like immigration, inflation, unemployment, and really our economy in general. If we see interest rates continue to rise or we start to see a flood of people losing their source of income, then yeah, you could see a flood of inventory. But if that were to happen, what happens to you as a buyer? If interest rates continue to go up, it affects your pre-approval too, and doesn't necessarily mean that you would be in a position with more buying power. And God forbid, but what happens if you lose your source of income? Or if your income is fixed and interest rates continue to go up? Now, I would expect that if we do unfortunately start to see some homeowners feeling pressure to sell, it will most likely be first-time home buyers that don't have a ton of equity built. Maybe they took a variable rate and were already stretched pretty thin when purchasing. And the first-time homebuyer segment of the market is where the most competition is, meaning they were likely in multiple offers and without equity from the sale of a previous home to aid in their purchase. For this reason, those who sold a home and moved up are likely going to be a little bit safer. However, I also think that some of the people who purchased in the $1.3 to $1.7 million range might also be in a more difficult position. They likely had equity from a previous sale, but may also be overextended because of interest rate increases and inflation. Now, if you do happen to be selling your home in the near future, do your due diligence. Now, I always say this, but you have one shot at a great first impression, and there is still a ton of demand out there. But so much of that demand are people waiting on the sidelines and waiting for people to make a mistake so that they can take advantage of it. So don't be the one making the mistakes. Talk to people who are active and very in tune with what's going on in the market. Maybe interview a few different agents. Find someone who understands your local market and what strategies will work best for you. There are a lot of homes being listed right now and they don't commit to a strategy. They do half of one strategy and half of another and end up getting the results of neither. Listing a home at a price it should sell for and then having an offer date can really send mixed messages. So it's listed for around what it should sell for, but you also have an offer date, so you're expecting list price, above list price. It's an easy way to confuse buyers and their agents about your intentions and ultimately turn people away from even wanting to see your listing. And then the day after the offer date, the same house is relisted at a new higher asking price, but then they still hold offers. It's very confusing. Then a week later, it jumps down in price, but by then it's too late. And if you did have buyers that have genuine interest in a property, then you have those buyers and their agents watching that property like a hawk, circling it and watching as the seller and their agent hit the panic button and make mistakes that ultimately cost them money. And I never want to see someone be taken advantage of, but if I'm working for a client interested in purchasing the property, I have a duty to present those opportunities to them. This is why it's so important as a homeowner to hire the right person and set yourself up for a successful sale the first time. And you have to be honest with yourself when looking at recent sales and trying to determine how your property compares to them so you have the right price expectations and strategy in mind, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I know it can be difficult as a homeowner to look at your home objectively or know what kinds of things and features buyers will value or not value. So this is really where picking the right realtor for you comes in, as they will be able to guide you through understanding pricing and strategy. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you would like to speak with me about buying or selling a home in Durham Region or surrounding areas, or just call to have some of your questions answered, there will be a link in the description where you can book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around until the end. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and an even better 2023 to come. That's it for this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!